Well, hello there, friends and family. We're back, and it's the very next day. And first of all, I'm going to apologize for this video coming out so late. But it's been a trying day here on the home place. But I'm not going to get into all that negativity now. We're going to go ahead on what we're going to do with that bean flour we made in the previous video. Now, what made this all some fun was I broke the video up into two parts, so y'all would have a chance to guess just what we were going to make with that bean flour. And y'all made a lot of guesses. The number one guess was, of course, bread. And I think that was because you saw me proofing my yeast in the video before that. Then some of you guessed biscuits. Here again, I guess that's because I'm just a little old southern boy. But y'all came up with some other interesting ideas. Refried beans you came up with. Thick bean soup. Bean dip. As well as crackers. Cinnamon rolls. Pancakes. Cookies. And cornbread. And I just want to say thank you for everybody who watched that video on making the bean flour. And also thank you again for all of those that took time to comment and make a guess. But what I'd like to say now is all those guesses are totally possible, and many of them I've done in the past with bean flour, whether it was from old dry beans or from new ones. You can make them all, folks. And that was the whole point of having you guess. So you would think about the possibilities of what you could do with that bean flour we made from those 8-year-old plus lentils that we had. Rather than just saying, well, they're old, my beans are old, I'm going to throw them away. Don't go there. So now, we're going to show you one of many videos, now we're going to show you one of many recipes that I'm going to make with the bean flour we made yesterday. So y'all sit tight, grab a cold beverage and some snacks, and I'll get you set up to watch. Here we go. Okay, I got a few things set out that we're going to be needing. And if I forgot anything, we'll add it to as we progress with this recipe. Now, of course, there's that fine bean flour made yesterday. Got us a little over a cup there. Now we also got some white lily bread flour. Now, you can use all-purpose, or you can use bread flour. I prefer to use bread flour because it's got the highest gluten content. That's important when you're using yeast. And I prefer white lily because that's what my grandma Himes used, and that little old lady could bake up a storm. Then I got some Alabama King brand fine ground and rich white stone ground cornmeal made in Saraland, Alabama. Some fine stuff there. I got one egg, and then I got some honey. Also got some seasoned salt, some oregano, some basil, some thyme leaves. I got a measuring cup, 1 cup. I got a spatula there. I got my sifter. Got my measuring spoons. And I got a couple of bowls right here. So let's get started on this right now. Okay, y'all. First thing you're going to need is you're going to need 1 1/2 cups of lukewarm water. And I would suggest that you check your water with a thermometer. and make sure it's between 110 and about 118 degrees. Because that's a mistake a lot of people make when they're making bread. Oops, I done gave it away. So we got 1 cup here. Just gonna put her on in the bowl. Now we're gonna get us another 1/2 cup. We got that right here. So we got that done. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a packet of active dry yeast. Now, I'm not gonna proof this yeast right now because I already proofed it yesterday. And we know, even though this yeast is about 4 months past its use by date, it's good to go. We're just going to take that. We're going to pour it right on in that mixing bowl right there. Okay. Now we got that done. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the seasoning salt. And we're going to open it up. And this is just any seasoning salt to do. And we're going to put in here 1, 2 teaspoons. Right like that. Okay. And we're going to put that on up. And we're going to get out our whisk, if we can find it. Just so happen I did. And we're going to give it just some whisk right there. And get all that yeasty goodness mixed up with that seasoning salt. Okay? And if you're interested, this has just got salt, paprika, pepper, garlic, some sugar, and spices. Now next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some honey. Now, wish I had raw honey, but I was out. Super Foods didn't have raw at the time. And we're just going to take a little bit of it. I'd say about a teaspoon of honey. And that's going to do 1 or 2 things. It's going to give that bread just a touch of sweetness, but it's also going to feed those yeast. Remember, yeast are alive, folks. They need nourishment just like we do. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in our different spices. We got them right here. We're going to start with some oregano. I like oregano. Oh man, I wish you could smell this. Woo. This is fresh. Well, it's not fresh. It's fresh dried. And that's not ground oregano. That's oregano leaves. I don't get ground. Next, we're going to be putting in some basil leaves. And we're going to put in, oh yeah, they're nice and fresh dried basil leaves. We're going to put us in a teaspoon of them too. And then we're going to put us in some thyme leaves. Here again, 1 teaspoon. There we go. We got that done. Now what we got to do is we got 1 medium to large egg. We're gonna crack this puppy. Oops. We're gonna drop it on in there. Of course, I made a little mess. And now, we're gonna do the secret ingredient. And I'll bet y'all have never done this before. Voila! We're gonna be putting in, yep, some Duke's mayonnaise. I bet you could have never guessed it. Now you can use whatever kind of mayonnaise you want, but as all Southerners know, it's Duke's or nothing, baby. No other thing on the planet. So what we're gonna do there, if we can get it out of there, because it's getting a little slim on it, we're gonna take a nice heaping tablespoon, and we're gonna get it on in there. That's one thing about Duke's. It don't like to come out too easily because it's thick. But we did it. So we got the Dukes in there. Now some of you may be going, ooh. Some of you might be going, oh, that's interesting and unique. And it is. So, let me get these cleaned up real quick. I'll be right back. So now that we got all those ingredients in there, we're going to give it another stir. Now you probably wonder, well, when is the bean flour coming? Well, we're about to do it. You just want to stir that up. Don't hurt it. Remember, the yeast are in there swimming around, trying to stay alive. Yep, here we go. We're going to put in this 1 cup bean flour right on in there. Stir it in a little bit. Then what we got to do, we got to put some of this here white lily in. I probably should have opened that in preparation for this, shouldn't I? But I didn't. Got a 1 cup scoop here. And we're going to take and add in 1 cup of the white lily bread flour, just like that. Boom. Now we got to mix this puppy up. We're going to try our whisk first. And we're just going to start mixing this, incorporating all that goodness. Use your whisk. Wipe up sides. Now this is going to get to be like thick muffin batter, cornbread batter. But that's okay. Point being, get it all mixed up in there good. And there we have it. Give this a rinse and I'll be right back. So let me bring you over here and show you what we got up to this point, okay? Y'all be good, be quiet. Got a fly trying to invade our batter. So there's what we got right there looking at. You can see the bean flour gives it a lot like the appearance of the whole grain bread batter. Now what we're going to have to do is cover this bowl of goodness up and let it sit for 2 hours. And we'll come back, show you what we got. Okay y'all, we're back. It's been 2 hours. Timer's going off. Let's shut this noisy thing on down. And now we're going to take a look and see how our batter's doing. We got it over here under a tea towel. Well, let's lift that off real quick. Oh yeah, you can see right there it's risen quite a bit. Now it should be sticky and puffy, and it's exactly that. See, it's sticky. So now we got to do one more thing and we'll proceed with the next process. So now what we got to do is we got to break out the old white lily again. And we're going to take our cup, we're going to get us a little flour in it, and we're going to drop it in our sifter here. And what we're doing is we're going to be putting some flour on top of this, just covering it up here. Yeah, it's going to make a little bit of a mess. That's okay. Just going to take that flour, cover it up. Just like that. Pour the rest of it in there. Of course, we're going to make a big mess. And we did. So let me bring you over, show you what it looks like right now. We'll wipe off that bowl a little bit. We'll be cleaning kitchen tonight for sure. So here, come on over here. So there you have it. We got it all covered up with just a light coating of flour, where we can't see the batter right now. Now what we got to do, we got to come around here and we got to put it in the fridge. So we're going to go ahead, cover it back up. We'll lay our little wooden fork over it. We're going to put a cover on it there. We're going to put the old tea towel back on it, and we're going to get this in the fridge, and we're going to leave it sitting in the fridge for 1 hour. So we'll restart that timer. And then we'll come back and revisit this thing. Now yes, I know you're probably saying, I ain't ever heard of putting bread batter or dough in the refrigerator. Well, neither had I, till I was told about this recipe many years back. And that was by an older lady, probably in her 70s, when I was farming up in southern Tennessee. And I've used it many times. Now granted, it's been about 6 to 8 years since I've done this. Hopefully my memory's fine and it'll come out fine. But hey, we're gonna be real. Whatever happens, you're gonna see it live right here as we do it. No cover up on Deep South Bama. So let me set that timer and we'll come back. Well, that timer's going off again, so let's turn it back off. It's been 1 hour. We're gonna have to get that bread out of the fridge here in a minute. Now what we've done while that bread was in the fridge We've got 2 loaf pans here. They're just old metal loaf pans made by Echo. They're 40-something odd years old. Had them pretty much all my adult life. And we've got them sprayed down with just some olive oil cooking spray. Now I got to get that bread batter out of the fridge. So let me get y'all on up positioned and grab that bread out. Now I don't know if you guessed it, while this bread was in the fridge, maybe some of you did, why we put that bread dough in the fridge. Well, that's to retard the rising of the bread. That's one reason. The other reason is it adds flavor to the bread. And how it does that is it allows the bacteria, i.e. the yeast, to create more acetic and lactic acids, both of which add flavor to your bread. Now, did you know it also comes in handy? Say something comes up while your bread's rising and you're not going to be able to bake it that day. You can keep your bread dough in the fridge or bread batter for anywhere from 12 to 18 hours. It shouldn't hurt it a bit. Now what we got to do is get this bread batter spooned or poured into these bread pans. But let's get that oven preheating while we do that. Now we've got the oven preheating at 350 degrees. And I'm going to try my best to get this bread dough out evenly between those 2 pans. I'm sure that's going to be somewhat of a hassle, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to take it now that it's deflated. I'm not sure 2 pans is going to be right. I think we're just going to go ahead, put it all in one. These are big loaf pans. We'll get that scraped on out of there. And I seen it rising so much, thought 2 might be necessary, even though the recipe called for just 1. But here again, my memory ain't what it used to be. So I got it in there, and we're just going to spread it on out in this loaf pan, working in the corners there. Yep, I think 1 deep loaf pan's gonna be just fine. And there we got it in there. See, right there. Now what we're going to do, probably wondering why we had this cornmeal out. And I'm going to try to do this without a shaker, since I don't bake bread that often anymore. Now, It's better if you got shaker. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit of this cornmeal on the top. Just like that. We're just going to sort of flatten it out some. Okay. I think I'm going to have to go with old-timey method here. Sometimes fingers are the best. And just with the weight of that spoon, we're going to just give a nice even coat on top of that bread. Just like that. See? Now we're going to let it rise again for about 30 to 60 minutes, and that all depends, because what you want to do now is let it rise 30 to 60 minutes or up till it gets to the top of that bread pan. Now you got to be careful handling this once it's risen, or it'll fall and you have to start all over again. So we're going to set it over here on the stove where it'll be nice and warm. And we'll get to cleaning up this mess. When it's risen to the top of that bread pan, we'll come back and I'll show you what we got. Okay, we're back. And it's been rising here on this nice warm stove top for right at about a little over 40 minutes. And if you look at there, it's coming over the top. So now it's time to get it in the oven. Now, since I got to handle this very carefully to keep from jarring it or bumping it, I'm not going to be able to take you along for this part. But we're going to set it in this preheated 350-degree oven with the rack in the center. So let me get it on in there, okay? Ooh, that's hot. Let's just slide it on in there ever so carefully. Very carefully close this big old heavy door. And that will set the timer for 30 minutes. At which time we'll come back and check it. There we go. When that timer goes off, we'll come back and see how that bread's doing. Okay, y'all, timer's going off again. Turn that off. It's time to bring that bread out. So I'm going to set y'all up over here on the counter, and we're going to get that bread on out of there. Hopefully it didn't fall and it's doing fine. We'll see here directly. All right. Well, there it is, folks. Sort of sunk in a little bit. Let's see if we can get it out of this pan real quick. Yep. Came right out. Woo! And there you have it. Let me bring you over here so y'all can check it out. There it is right there. Now what we got to do is let it cool off, and then we can cut it open, see what it looks like. I'll bring you back then once it's cool and we cut a slice off. Well, y'all, here's that loaf of bread right here. Get a good look at it. Looks pretty tasty. But now comes the true test. Now we got to cut a slice off and see if it actually came out the way we expected. Now, disclaimer here, I haven't done this in 6 to 8 years. So we're going to just make a little slice right here, and we're going to see what it looks like. Here we go. Let's bring you down for a look before we take some of that there grade A butter and put on. Right there you have it. Made a nice brown whole grain type bread. I don't know if you can see it there. There's what it looks like on that side. I have to get this camera where y'all can see it. There you have it. It's got good structure. Now it's nice and soft. Let me get a saucer and slap some of that grade A butter on it and give it a taste test. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to take this slice right here, the end slice. Now I'm going to take some of this butter we've had out softening, nice healthy chunk of it, and we're just going to spread it right on. Okay, now we got to give it the true test. Let's put some in the old mouth, see how tasty it is. It's got some crispiness to the crust. That's pretty darn tasty. Got a nice Italian type flavor going with that basil and oregano in it. Yeah. This would be real good with spaghetti, lasagna, well, pretty much about any dish. They come out pretty tasty. Not any crunchiness from the beans. Very flavorful. I enjoy it. I'm so happy. Well, folks, I hope you learned something. At least one way, and we're going to be looking at several others in upcoming videos, on how to take those dry old beans you have, grind them in the flour, flakes, what have you, and use them in many dishes. And if you read down through the comments, all those things that people mentioned are possible, and you should try them, even if you don't have old beans. Remember, beans are high in protein and fiber, and we old people, we need that fiber. Excuse me for eating in front of you. That came out really well. Now you gotta appreciate a full-bodied whole grain bread. But I think I'm gonna get some of my leftover beans I still have from a few videos back and had me a couple slices of this bread with some warmed up beans. Well, y'all, hope you enjoyed the video. Until we see you next time, I want you all to stay safe, take care, and God bless each and every one of you. Till the next video, goodbye for now. Trixie. Trix. What's up? Trixie. You gonna say bye? She still... Yeah, she said it. Later, all.